Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
Non-binary listeners, ladies and gentlemen, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookins, the talking heads. The audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our host's past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events unrelated to outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. The contents of this episode are the property of Volcanic Dingo, LLC. All rights reserved.
And beyond!
It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler, just trying to make a living and doing the best I can.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
I'm writing about the book I read. I have to sing about the book I read. Welcome to episode 157 of our Casino Combat podcast. No worries, I will spare you that. I am not going to do any singing today, I promise, guaranteed. But I do have to tell you about a book I read and some authors I met and the things they think, and what I think about the things that they think. It's been over a year ago now that an email showed up in my inbox. A listener, a member of our squad, had results to share, and that's not super unusual. But what was unusual is that these results had lots and lots of zeros on the end of them. Results that, if accurate, had this player winning more in a weekend than I was winning in 6, 8, 10 months. So we emailed and we chatted, and eventually I went a few hours away and watched him play and met a friend of his. And in the process, I found out the two of them were writing a book. And in and of itself, that's not super unusual in my life. People tell me all the time they're going to write a gambling book. I mean, I'm working on 3 or 4 of them myself, have been the entire time I've been doing this podcast. And it's also not unusual for people to tell me they have invented or discovered a better way of playing blackjack. And usually it's so good that it's a secret. And they want me to sign an NDA. Usually they want me to put up money of my own and test what they are sure will work that they can't afford. And that's where this became different. I continued to talk to one of the authors. We met. We disagreed. We talked some more. And he and his partner actually published their book. It is called Beyond the Book. I read it. I thought the authors were wrong. Billy with the great last name read it. He was insulted. He didn't want us to have anything to do with it. Very literally, it's a book that somewhat makes fun of me and what I do. Not me personally, people like me. Yeah, not personal, but people, it makes fun of people like me and what I do and what I think in some way in almost every single chapter. Billy would like me to ignore this book, or he would like me more to put the authors on blast. That's just not me. That's not what I do. That's not how I roll. And let me tell you why. I look at it this way. You know, back when Meletus strolled up to Socrates and said, "Hey, Socrates, you're wrong. You're wrong about all of this. You're corrupting the youth." Did Socrates hide? Did he cringe? Did he step back? Did he refuse to have the discussion? I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'll tell you what I imagine. I imagine that Socrates thought, he called me Socrates. He thinks I'm wrong. Sir, the floor is yours. Tell us your ideas. Tell us why I'm wrong. Let's have this discussion as gentlemen and as friends. So that's the approach I'm taking. That is where Billy and I disagree. I'm not putting anybody on blast. That's just where we are. So let's metaphorically consider that the Casino Combat Galaxy is a big place in and of itself. Interesting characters, fun people. And it exists, as SameBet has told us, in the TRG verse, which is an even bigger place. So if you'll allow some poetic license, and I control the microphone, so I guess you have no choice other than to fast forward if you don't want to allow some poetic license, the TRG verse contains the Casino Combat Galaxy. And it contains the Beyond Galaxy. As I said, the name of the book is Beyond the Book. The authors are Dave Krites and R. Bruce Dye. And I've spent a bit of time with both of them and more time with Bruce. We've had a number of discussions. We agree on many, many, many things. We want to help players be better at the game of blackjack. We want to teach what we know with the remaining time we have on this earth. We both think we are right and the other person is wrong about a few things, about a percentile of things, about how to best beat the game of blackjack. Bruce plays with a lot more zeros on his bankroll than I do, but he's allowed me to see a little of what it is like to be a whale, to play so big that the normal casino rules don't apply to you. It has been a fascinating and sometimes frustrating experience. His level of play is also the reason I've ignored Billy and done this episode. Bruce is a podcast listener, a member of our squad. He has provided an opportunity for all of us to learn what it is like just a little bit to play in his world, a world most of us would never experience if he had not contacted me. And it is my job, as I've defined it for myself, to share with all of you the things that I learn, the things that I encounter, the things that happen in my life. And I'm going to do that for all squad members and all their experiences. And Bruce is clearly a listener and clearly a member of our squad. And that is what I am going to do, despite the fact that it's created a little friction between me and Billy. Every episode, I put together something I call the battle plan. And this episode is going to be, I wrote all about playing Beyond the Book. It's going to be mostly about playing Beyond the Book. And I got a big stack of paper here to go through that's about playing Beyond the Book, playing in that other galaxy. In one way or another, from a certain point of view, if you pay attention, almost all of this is about, in some way, playing Beyond the Book. Well, except for the VIP lounge. That's going to be a bit selfishly, perhaps cathartically, perhaps emotionally. That the VIP is going to be about me, but otherwise, the rest of this stack is all about my experiences and what I've learned from this new book. This episode is about looking at how playing in the Beyond the Book galaxy differs from playing in the Casino Combat Galaxy. And we're going to start with a Padawan parable to kind of set the stage. Then I'm going to do a core concept segment and compare my core concepts for winning the game of casino gambling with the beliefs of those who play Beyond the Book. Then we're going to do a results segment. I'm going to share some of my results from actual play in an actual casino in the Beyond Galaxy, before doing a moment of concept segment to kind of look at a core concept and a casino wisdom thrown in a mental blender. I have some questions I want you to think about. after that, we will finish up with some sips in the virtual VIP lounge with a very real, very personal story just about my life, unrelated to anything in Dave or Bruce's book, just plain old. It happened, and I'm going to share, I think I need to share, one quick disclaimer. You know I love a good disclaimer, so one quick disclaimer. Well, one rather long disclaimer. It looks like it's about 3 paragraphs of disclaimer here. I'm going to do my best to represent the ideas in Beyond the Book accurately and factually and share my impression of my time with the authors in the same way. But ultimately, all I have are opinions and impressions. I am very sure that eventually, perhaps very quickly after this all gets published, Bruce is going to tell me that I got some of it wrong or that I didn't understand things correctly. And if that happens, when that happens, as I expect it to happen, the mistakes are mine and they are unintended and unintentional. And Bruce and Dave are always welcome to participate in this podcast in any way they would like. I'm happy to record conversation live or via Zoom. I'm happy to travel to them to record. They are welcome to record monologues without me on any topic related to gambling, and I will create segments or entire shows with their thoughts in their own words in any ways they would like to do that. Various casino properties have denied requests that I have made in the past because I am a journalist, in their opinion, or, and please put this in air quotes, a member of the media. And I always think that's funny. Talking into the air makes someone a journalist and a member of the media. As it relates to Beyond the Book, I am going to try to actually step into that role and act in that role. Not as a gambler, not as a person with his own opinions about gambling. We talk about casinos and gambling here all the time. We talk about blackjack a lot here. The authors of Beyond the Book have presented a unique take on those topics, one very different from my own. They've been generous with their time, and I'm going to try to attempt to examine their ideas and report my experiences so that we can all learn from what they have created for us. And then we can all form our own opinions and have our own ideas. Let's start looking at playing blackjack beyond the book, in the Beyond the Book galaxy, with a Padawan parable. The Padawan, the Path, and the Beyond.
Padawan! Oh, Anakin.
Master!
My young Padawan learner.
You're reckless, little one. You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan. But you might make it as mine.
A master in green and yellow walked the path for a long time. He taught many Padawans. He ate many wonderful meals, saw shows, went places, and enjoyed wonderful spaces. He usually knew how to avoid the bears and drink the beers. He passed through the unicorn's grove from time to time. He received many gifts for spending time in various places. As he walked the path, he went to places he had never imagined, meeting both students and masters and learning new things. One day, a message arrived, then another. Someone else claimed to be a master as well. He was certain the master in green and yellow was wrong about many things. A meeting should be held in a distant place. Lessons would be taught. The master in green and yellow traveled to the edge of what he knew. The path ended at the door of a tavern in the mist. He entered the tavern and sat down. It looked like many other places he had been, but there was a door opposite where he had entered. He asked the bartender about the door and learned that there was also a path out that door, but that path was in the Beyond. The Beyond was a place the master of green and yellow did not know about. Fairly quickly, the other door opened, and a master in gray and yellow entered. The second master bought food and drink for them to share. He explained that often the master in green and yellow walked the wrong path, and when he did walk the correct path, he walked it in the wrong way, and what he taught his students was incorrect. This new master taught that gifts and meals were distractions on the path, just as dangerous as the bear. Chasing these distractions with small sums was all part of the enemy's plan to bring the master to ruin over time. The focus should be on profits from larger sums. The master in green and yellow was hesitant. He thanked the master in gray and yellow for the meal and the advice. He returned to the path he knew and the walk he had always trusted. But he thought, and he pondered. He tested and he wondered. He eventually went to the first Padawan that he had ever taught, now a master and teacher in his own right. "What do you think?" he asked. "Am I wrong? Have we been wrong?" His first student was angry. How could someone challenge what the two of them knew to be true? The very idea was insulting. Walking the path and the beyond would lead to expenses and hardship. Walking only the beyond path would limit where they could go and what they could do. No time should be given to this so-called master in gray and yellow. The master in green and yellow thought for a few moments. "I don't know everything there is to know about gambling," he said, "but I want to. Perhaps, to be a true master, I must also be a Padawan again." Two things can be true at the same time. Two masters can find two solutions. I will return to the edge of what I know. I will leave the tavern by the other door and enter the beyond and walk that path that way. I will see if I become wealthy or impoverished. I normally tell you at the end of a parable that the little lion's favorite teacher says, "We have ears, say cheers." And that one of my favorite teachers said, "If you have ears, you should listen." You should. I don't know what the path beyond will reveal, but a lesson has just been taught. Here ends the lesson. Let's go do a very unique core concept segment next.
With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels on everything from lamps to ceiling fans, even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes, now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox, clean feels good.
Chronic spontaneous urticaria, or chronic hives with no known cause. It's so unpredictable. It's like playing pinball. Itchy, red bumps start on my arm, then my back. Sometimes my legs. Hives come out of nowhere. And it comes and goes. But I just found out about a treatment option at treatmyhives.com. Take that, chronic hives. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
And beyond!
The core concepts of casino combat, the functional rules of the casino combat galaxy, are the fundamental ideas I think are essential to winning the game of casino gambling. I wanted to go through them today one at a time and compare and contrast them to the fundamental ideas in Beyond the Book, at least as I understand them. And I think we need to start right there, right at the very beginning. The authors of Beyond the Book are not interested in winning the game of casino gambling. They're not even really playing that game. Their focus is on winning the game of blackjack and making a financial profit. They have no interest in comps. In fact, they think playing for comps is a great mistake. By his own admission, Bruce doesn't even know what tier credits are. When I first met him, he didn't even know he had Caesar's reward credits. Didn't know how many he had and didn't know how to use them or what they are good for. Bruce plays for some very high stakes. What tier credits and tier status he has doesn't matter. Whatever the highest status is in whatever brand he is playing, he has it just by walking in, just by establishing his line of credit, just by his very presence. To put this in perspective, and without telling other people's business, but to put this in perspective, the last time we were together, Bruce checked his Caesar's rewards credits and shared the amount he had with me. Now, reward credits can be gifted to other players. Hypothetically, if Bruce were to gift just 10% of his reward credits to Mrs. TRG, she would instantly have a slush fund for spa treatments at Caesar's properties anywhere she went that would probably last her the rest of her life. And he didn't know he had them, and he doesn't know what they are good for, and he has never had a reason to be concerned. In the Casino Combat Galaxy, we try to beat the game of casino gambling, and tier points and reward points are the tools that we use from time to time to beat that game. Tier points and reward points earned playing slots or craps or baccarat are just as valuable as tier and reward points earned playing blackjack. And they are a way to offset losses in cash with other things of value. In the Beyond the Book Galaxy, tier and reward credits are meaningless and have no value. Let me say that again. In the Beyond the Book Galaxy, tier and reward credits are meaningless and have no value. At a foundational level, two different games are being played. One is the game of blackjack and the other is the game of casino gambling. For a casino combat player in the Casino Combat Galaxy, we focus on the game we are trying to win, and blackjack is just one tool among many to win that game. For a Beyond player in the Beyond the Book Galaxy, the focus is on beating the game of blackjack and making a profit. And with that understanding in place, let's look at the rest of the core concepts and see how things match or don't match. The first core concept is to learn to play a casino game with wagers that have a very small house advantage. If blackjack is played using basic strategy, the house advantage is very, very, very small. Less than 1%. The smallest house advantage you can get. When playing Beyond the Book, the house advantage does not matter and basic strategy is not used. A Beyond the Book player knows that if the casino allows you to do something, it is a benefit to the house, not the player. The house will tell you basic strategy if you ask, which means that they want you to use it so you will lose money over time. A Beyond the Book player plays using a basic strategy created by Bruce after playing many, many, many hands, and it ignores the increase in house advantage that the strategy creates. A Beyond the Book player is not planning to play enough hands for the house advantage to matter. The basic strategy used by Beyond the Book players is called the Modified Player's Guide. It is available in the book, and it can be downloaded from the website betsize21.com. 21 there is two numbers. Betwise, 2 words, no hyphens, no punctuation, 21. BETWISE 21.com. It is an easy strategy to learn. The only pairs that are split are pairs of aces. The only hands doubled are 10s or 11s versus a 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. All other hands are played either as a hit or a stand. Essentially, a Beyond the Book player gives the house a much larger house advantage than a core concepts player, and in return has very little buy-in volatility because additional money is very, very rarely wagered on a particular hand. The next core concept is to use a wagering process that includes both progressive and regressive attributes. A progressive wager is one that increases after a win or a series of wins. A regressive wager is one that increases after a loss or a series of losses. A Beyond the Book player doesn't change wagers based on previous outcomes. As presented in the book, 7 wagers are made at 1 unit, then 7 at a larger unit, and then 7 at a larger unit, irregardless of previous outcomes. When I observed Bruce playing Beyond the Book, and in the results he has shared with me, I have seen Bruce use some variations on that wagering approach. The first time I observed him playing, he was doing 6 1-unit bets and 6 2-unit bets and then having the cards reshuffled. He was playing at a reserved private table and the house was willing to shuffle at his request. The next time I saw him play, he was playing 10 hands before the shuffle and flat betting them. He has shared play records with me where he bet flat the entire shoe and used what we would call a negative exit of -5 units and a positive exit of 3.5 units. In another set of shared results, he did 10 hands at 1 unit and 10 hands at 2 units and 10 hands at 3 units and 10 hands at 4 units, and then flat bet table minimum to play out a shoe when a courtesy shuffle was not available. The next core concept is to have a bankroll of money you can afford to lose that is larger than needed for the game, unit size, and wagering process you intend to use. The core concepts and beyond the book are very aligned here. Both approaches use a large bankroll in proportion to the buy-in and wager amounts, and large is obviously very relative. Bruce's buy-in would pay off the balance of my mortgage. The next very easy core concept is to use a player's card from every casino you play in and look for ways to upgrade that card by way of tier matches with reward systems for other casinos, hotel chains, and cruise lines. Beyond the book players are not concerned about comps or tier status. There is no alignment on this core concept, although Bruce has used a card every time I've seen him played, or the house has simply known his number because they're already holding a private table for him. What's next? Let's see. Have the discipline to win a small set amount of money and leave, or else lose a small set amount and leave. And that could be leaving the table or the building, depending on factors of time and distance. Regardless of which galaxy you play in, this idea applies. In fact, the Beyond the Book player is looking for an even smaller win as a percentage of buy-in than a core concepts player. We have a lot of alignment there. The next core concept is, in the end, try to win over the long run, the month, the quarter, or the year, not the table, the machine, or the day. Beyond the Book players only play blackjack, so machines are not involved, but otherwise there's complete alignment on this idea. Bruce and I agree no one wins every time. He says often, while he knows he wins, he doesn't know what's going to happen this time when he plays. He's right, I'm right, we agree, no one does. No one knows what's going to happen at any specific table before play starts. Losses will happen, and the goal is to win more than you lose over time. The final core concept is, if you have losses in the long run, make up those losses with comps and gifts from the casino. Here, a core concept player in the core concept galaxy and a Beyond the Book player in the Beyond galaxy completely disagree. Playing Beyond the Book means not playing for comps, not worrying about or looking for comps. A Beyond the Book player buys what they need or want from the casino and believes it is stupid to play for comps. And further, that in comparison to the money put at risk, comps are way too small to worry about. And I really hope I have conveyed that correctly and accurately. It is my intent to have done so. And I will come back to that in a minute. But first, let me point out one last idea that is not a core concept, but is a point where Casino Combat and Beyond the Book are in agreement. I've talked many times about what I think of as the rule of one and infinity. It is very easy to win one unit. It is impossible to win infinite units. The closer to one unit your win goal is, the greater the probability you will accomplish your goal. And the closer to infinity your goal is, the higher the probability that you will fail and they will take their money. I've said in the past, if I took $100,000 to Las Vegas and went from casino to casino, buying in for $10,000 and playing TRG4, win more, keep more, at $1,000 a hand until I either lost 8 units or won 1 unit, my expectation would be to win $1,000 many, many, many times. And it is very possible that I could go an entire weekend without ever having a losing table. And I wouldn't get any comps, and I wouldn't get any meaningful tier points. And maybe Bruce is right, I should just try to find a way to do that, but I don't have $100,000 that I could lose if things went randomly badly, as they might do. But it is true. I have tracked the number of times I am up at least 1 unit at a table, regardless of the eventual outcome, for over 2 years. Over 90% of the time, I am up 1 unit at some point in the process on any table, even if I eventually end up having a losing table. So why don't I play that way? Because I can't lose $24,000 and just shrug it off and drop another $10K on the table. Okay, but you say, TRG, why not do the same thing locally with a $100 unit size and quickly win $100 a day? And my response is, the cost of parking is between $25 and $65 a day at my local casino. If I earn the 3rd tier, parking is comped. I'm a Casino Combat player right now for the majority currently. So I play for that comp because that comp has value to me. But Beyond the Book and Casino Combat agree that a very small win goal in proportion to your buy-in is a key component for success. When I told Bruce I couldn't afford to play big enough to make playing Beyond the Book work for me, he got a bit frustrated and a bit exasperated. I'm putting emotions in his brain based on what I observed. And he said, well, just come watch me play at my casino and I'll win enough for you to leave and have enough money to go back and play $100 a hand my way. And eventually you will see that I am right and you are wrong. And over time you will be able to afford to play big enough that you won't need comps. Okay. That was my reply. Okay. That I can do. I can come hang out for a day. And if I come home with enough money to play $100 a hand your way, I will play your way as perfectly as I am able and report the results to the world. And that's what I did. And that's what he did. And in the results segment coming up next, I'm going to share my first set of results playing in the Beyond the Book galaxy.
And beyond!
So here are the conditions for this Beyond the Book test process. And I'm hoping that this goes on for years. I'm hoping that this goes on for many, many segments. I mean, in some form, I hope a year from now, I am still doing this test, still working from this bankroll, still able to do these segments as I do episodes and tell you where I'm at in testing this process. That would be fine. That would be great. That would be amazing. We would know then that two people are right about two different things and two different approaches. But for this test, I want to try to play as closely to the preferred play conditions of the author, Bruce Dye, as I can, given my limitations and the bankroll provided. I'm using the wagering structure he used at Borgata during a recent visit based on the results he shared. The amount of money he gave me for testing, I really wouldn't have enough units to test the 777 wagering process presented in the book, which I have honestly not seen him ever do, or the 6-at-1, 6-at-2 unit approach I've seen him use in the past. Most of the times I've observed Beyond the Book play, Bruce has been at a private table with a 6-deck shoe, and the dealer stands on all totals of 17 or greater. The house will shuffle the cards at the player's request, if that player is the author of the book. I can't perfectly recreate that environment. I'd need a line of credit approximately equal to my net worth to get that game locally. But I'm able to come close. I'm able to improvise. And I do that by playing early in the day on weekdays. And by doing that, I'm usually able to play heads up in a high limit room that offers a 6-deck game, the dealer's standing on all hands of 17 or larger, and no mid-shoe entry. So if I start a shoe, no one is going to change the cards on me or get upset about me not playing Beyond the Book. Often there is a second open table. And if I get to 10 hands, I can change tables and essentially have a shuffle created. On one occasion, I explained to a pit boss that I know well what I was testing, and he conceded that since I could change tables at will, they would shuffle every 10 hands for me. In situations where the room gets a bit fuller, I have to play out some shoes. I've managed to keep tables just to myself by being honest with incoming players and saying, I'm testing the ideas in a new blackjack book. If me not playing perfect basic strategy is going to bother you, you may not want to play with me, but you are welcome to join if it won't bother you. No one ever wants to join. No one ever wants to join the crazy guy who's not going to play basic strategy on purpose. So I've managed to get fairly close to the preferred Beyond the Book play style with a bit of creativity and knowledge of my local casino. I've also generated a small following of people interested in both Beyond the Book and the results of my testing. Dealers and pit bosses who know what is going on are asking about the results when they see me. A couple of times, strangers have said, I heard you are testing that new book. Can I watch you play? Things like that are happening and are occurring. In addition to getting close to the same play style, I am using a 5-unit buy-in, a positive exit is plus 3.5 units, and a negative exit is either all units lost or I can't make the next bet. That situation only occurs if I get a blackjack at some point and then lose everything but the half unit from that payout. I do usually tip a couple of red chips, so some wins of exactly 3.5 units end up being a bit short of that amount of actual dollars. The other artificial limit on this test is that mathematically it is admittedly underfunded on paper. The expected loss per attempt ratio for beyond the book play, as I understand it, is 14 losing sessions or less per 100 attempts. In my lab test, outside the casino, I was seeing approximately 10 losses per 100 attempts using the 6-at-1, 6-at-2 wagering approach. I started this test with 20 units, and Bruce's confidence that if I played his way, I would see that he is right and I am wrong and everything will work out and the bankroll will grow. Mathematically, if I perform to the predicted math, I need to build the bankroll from 20 units to 75 units to actually fund future efforts properly. A string of unexpected negative outcomes early in this process could doom the effort to failure due to an underfunded bankroll, and if that happened, I would still accurately have modeled the author's expected results. If I get the expected 14 results all bunched together right at the beginning before I've grown the bankroll to 75 units, that doesn't mean that what's written in the book doesn't work. It just means that the bad stuff happened, unfortunately, all toward the beginning. That's just the reality. In my experience, Bruce is right way more often than he is wrong on topics in the big sense of things. So I'm starting my testing aware that I'm a bit underfunded, but mostly unconcerned. Bruce thinks he's right. I'm going to trust that he's right, and that this will over time grow out to 75 units and more, and that I'll be properly funded to conduct this test. But bad things could happen, and if they happen early too often, then we'll wrap this test up. But I want to be clear, that doesn't mean that what was written is wrong. That won't prove that. Me failing won't prove that what was written is wrong. I'll just have to acknowledge, and I am acknowledging, that just means I didn't start with enough. So, 10 attempts, 2 weeks of visits. Here we go, in order. First attempt, minus 450, minus basically the buy-in, minus 4.5 units. Next test, up 440. Oh, wait, let me start over again. First attempt, minus $450, plus 87 tier credits. Second attempt, plus 440, 105 tier credits. Third attempt, up 390. I earned a total of 3 tier credits. I don't know why. That's just the math. Attempt 4, I earned $390, 188 tier credits. Pretty good there, right? First attempt, a loss. Second attempt, almost wiped out the loss. Next 2 attempts, solid, on our way to a profit. Fifth attempt, minus $450, plus 80 tier credits. Then plus 450, 82 tier credits, plus 450, up 98 tier credits. What's happening there? Where are those 450s coming from? I got like 10 against a 6 on, I'm up 2.5 units, and it's 10 against a 6, and I double and I win and I'm done. There aren't a lot of doubles, but if they do happen right on that, I'm almost done. I've almost got my positive exit. I just need to win this hand. If that happens to be a double or a blackjack, we pleasantly go over just a little bit. Attempt 8, plus 350, 115 tier credits. Attempt 9, up 180 when I exited, and 65 tier credits. This one's a little different, and let me explain why. The casino started to get crowded. I couldn't force a shuffle. I couldn't stop at 10 hands. I played through the end of the shoe. Somebody wanted to come in. I explained what was going on. They still wanted to come in. Then a buddy of theirs joined. So now there are 3 of us. And the first time that I didn't split 8s against a dealer's 9, they started getting angry. And they had been drinking. and the casino was getting full after a sporting event, and I decided just to cut attempt 9 short at 180 and admit the play conditions were no longer right and proper. So those are the results I got. That's why I got them. That's what I did. We can all talk, judge, discuss. Bruce can coach. I'll listen. Attempt 10, minus 410, 83 tier credits. So, 906 tier credits in the course of 10 attempts would be, if I made 5 attempts a week, 453 tier credits a week. 453 tier credits times 52 weeks, if I played at this casino 5 days a week for the entire year, is 23,556 tier credits. In this particular reward system, I need 70,000 tier credits per year to get free parking for the following year. One of the reasons I personally present to Bruce as why playing Beyond the Book wouldn't work for me, even with larger sums, is my concern that I will have to pay for parking. And that's admittedly not a concern many places. But it is a concern in Atlantic City for our players in the squad that play there, and it is a concern for me. Parking is a comp based on tier status earned. Beyond the Book says not to play for comps. Let's look at that fairly and objectively. Over these 10 attempts, I won 13.4 units and would have spent 3.2 units on parking. So even if I had to pay for parking, which I currently do not, I would have grown my bankroll by 50% in 10 attempts. Since I didn't pay for parking, my bankroll of 20 units is now 34 units and a little bit of extra money for tip money. So, objectively, fairly, if I didn't play for comps, if I walked in, played till I won 3.5 units, and walked out and paid for parking, I would have still increased my bankroll by 50%. That would be a wonderful result. And if that keeps repeating for every 10 attempts, I guess you have to say it wouldn't matter if you had to pay for parking. That would not be a fair objection. One final note. Beyond the Book may be right and I may be wrong. But last year I made good money playing my way and received many times that much money in comps and value. I may eventually walk away from worrying about comps. But in the meantime, after testing and documenting blackjack play in the Beyond the Book galaxy, I've been going back through that tavern door to the Casino Combat Galaxy and doing a craps play all day session to make sure I maintain my daily theoretical value to the casino and to keep my comps and future parking benefits in place. And of course, I'm tracking those play results separately. All right, let's finish up this initial look at playing in the Beyond the Book galaxy with some questions I'd like you to think about during a Moment of Concepts segment.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind.
Thing means nothing. What?
A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination.
When I do Moment of Concepts segments, I like to take a casino wisdom and a core concept, maybe a couple of each of those. I like to throw them in a mental blender, think about them, hopefully create some things for all of you to think about. And so the ideas that are in my head today, the things that are running through my mental blender, is be accountable to someone or something. That's a casino wisdom of ours. And the core concept, win a small set amount and leave. And if you lose, make it up with comps and gifts. So I got those things running through my brain. And so I wanted to kind of think about that. I wanted to tell you about two players, Phil and Frederico, who went to the same casino for a one-night stay on the same night. Phil won $10. Frederico won $1,000. Which win impresses you? Remember that answer. Phil drank well bourbon while he played. Frederico drank Glenlivet 18 while he played and at the bar listening to live music when he was done. Which beverage would you rather enjoy? Phil ate at the snack bar. He had a hoagie, a brownie, and a root beer. Frederico ate at the steakhouse. He had a Caesar salad, surf and turf, and cheesecake, with more Glenlivet 18. Which meal would you rather enjoy? Phil bought in with $200 and played for 6 hours at a $5 table with a $5 unit size. Frederico bought in with a bankroll of $20,000 and played for 10 minutes at a $500 table with a $500 unit size. Which amount of time would you rather play? Phil received a $25 gas station gift card. Frederico did not. Would you care about a $25 gift card? Phil left in the morning and his room charges, and resort fee were comped. No sales taxes were collected. He already had a room the following Friday night reserved and comped and was looking forward to returning. All of Phil's drinks were comped because he was playing. Frederico left in the morning and paid for his room charges, drinks, and resort fees, a total of $1,200, and the taxes due on that amount, and he paid for that with his credit card. Phil went home and gave his wife the gift card and told her he won $10. Frederico posted on social media a picture of the orange chip he won gambling in the casino, and his friends were impressed. He was planning to go back again in 6 months or so for another night out. Is Phil or Frederico the better gambler? Which player is a professional gambler? Which player would you rather be? All right, let us adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge. I have admittedly been sipping a bit as I went here, so let's go have a sip together. I do really hope you will join me on this one.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen-to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the virtual VIP lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual food and drinks served in any virtual VIP lounge anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed, or your money back. As always, and especially today, if you can, press pause, pour yourself something, fix a plate. Honestly, if you really want to enjoy me, join me, well, maybe it's kicking in. If you really want to join me, if you really do, press pause and have 3 or 4 to catch up, and then we can talk. I have a strong new pour of Knob Creek Smoke and Maple here. If you have not tried Smoke and Maple by Knob Creek, this is nice. This is reminding me a lot of the toasted marshmallow old fashioned on Royal Caribbean in the Schooner Bar. Got a lot of things that line up with that. Really liking this Knob Creek Smoke and Maple. This segment has nothing to do with Beyond the Book. This is just truly me and my life. I've said before, this is reality podcasting. It is. This is real. Going through a bit of a rough spot. Gambling adjacent, not gambling related. Not results related. This is kind of a personal one. Yeah. Look, when I started this podcast, I was going to go all in on being TRG. As professional wrestlers used to do back in the day, I was going to go kayfabe. I was going to live the gimmick of being TRG in public 100% of the time. I very literally cut my hair and changed my name to live this life of fortune and fame. Vest, boots, bling, different looks on different days, drawing attention on purpose, all of it. And honestly, it worked. All that stuff actually kept me grounded. Those things were familiar and comfortable. It let the real me be the fake me and be in control of myself and my emotions when I ended up in strange places or strange situations. Tier 3, 3-unit bet, split 3 times, doubled twice, a tap on the ring, a glance at a bracelet. It kept me in character. It kept me calm. It kept me from freaking out. A pit boss or a casino employee being intimidating or difficult, I'm standing tall, shoulders wide, in boots from a bird from another continent. I went to the casino last week. I parked where I always park. I went into my everyday carry bag where all my stuff that's been around the world with me, and got out the casino combat ring. The ring that lets me change names and days to protect the innocent and the guilty. The Eye of the Tiger ring. A couple of wristbands. I thought about adding the nice Eye of the Tiger band I got on Dice Cruise 4, but I didn't. I thought about adding a nice stainless steel chain that Mrs. TRG gave me as a gift, but I didn't. I wasn't going to be long. I wasn't going to be any place fancy. It was an afternoon in the middle of the week, in the middle of nowhere, nobody particularly to see, nobody to particularly impress. I played, I won, it was early, the place was dead, I didn't spend any time at the bar. I got in the car and started home. At the first stoplight, I went to put away the rings and the blings, and there was no bag, and I said, oh, that's right, it was in the trunk. I'd take care of things when I got home. I got home, the bag wasn't in the trunk. Maybe I remembered wrong. I'd gone to my office before I left. Yeah, I had the bag with me, and I left it there. That's right. And I went to look, knowing in my heart of hearts that I was wrong, knowing I had the bag with me in the car. And frantic, I searched the car again, searched my failing aging memory again, searched the house again, did it all a third time, checked the door of the car for damage. I'd been robbed. Well, burgled, I guess. How? I'm always really careful about locking the doors, almost OCD about locking the doors, about checking that I locked the doors. I played it back. I got a phone call just as I got out of the car. I was faced away from the car. I had my back to the car and the door. There's a pillar on the passenger side of that parking spot in that parking garage so large that Nakatomi Tony or I could hide behind the pillar. Could someone have been behind the pillar and snuck up while I was on the phone and opened the door and taken the bag, or just opened the door a fraction to keep it from locking when I locked the door? I park almost the same place every day. Could someone have been looking for me specifically based on what I do, where I am? Was I a target, not a random victim? I thought more. Then I went back after that and unlocked the trunk and changed shoes. That would unlock the car again. And again, I'm really comfortable. I don't really pay attention. Did someone open the door? Were they in a crouched down when I unlocked the hatch and hold the door open just a small amount and wait for me to walk away and take my bag? I went back to the casino to report to security and asked them to check the tapes. I parked a different place. I left the bling at home. Suddenly not as comfortable in the gimmick. As I filled out the report, it started to hit. The parts of my life that were gone, not just the gimmick stuff. I mean, that hurts. That hurts a lot. Gifts from Mrs. TRG that I would still have if I decided not to put them on. An expensive piece of jewelry from a special cruise. And the real life stuff. Not just the gimmick stuff, the real life stuff. Some cash, not a big deal. But you got to carry defense because you always carry cash, so a handgun and a knife, not allowed in the casino. Yeah, crap. A gun registered to me, stolen. More work, more uncomfortable. Our passports. This is my cruise bag. This is the bag I always take on the cruise. It all kind of crashed out. And it still is. It's been most of a week. I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm less comfortable in that garage and that building and being in character. And that's hitting my play. I do believe in the benefits of rituals and totems to players, at least to me as a player. Doing this podcast, walking around in TRG's skin until it became second nature, it helped me be a better player. Some of that got stolen too. The financial loss is tough. Rebuilding my daily carry bag is a project. All the things for my work. Cables, tools, tablet. I was lucky I decided I didn't need my laptop off the kitchen table that day for my one quick work stop on the way to the casino, or that would be gone too. Right now, it's tough to feel comfortable and confident in most aspects of my life. It's easy to say and hard to do, but be careful out there. be aware out there. I'll be changing things up, parking different places, maybe using valet a bit more. My youngest grandson gave me a simple wooden necklace from a family trip to the Dominican Republic. It's supposed to be lucky. It's becoming a new totem. I'll rebuild, but this one hurt. Thanks for listening. Feel free to join me and have one more.
Please tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host, but don't tip away your wins. TRG has spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out he was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand. TRG was born a ramblin' man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. The best part of the podcast is next. The Casino Combat Blues. Thank you again to Fish Audio for providing my glorious voice. Special thank you to my original actress, author, Julia Tverdovskaya.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight, I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition, you should probably play alone. I know the house has an advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card, put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now, do it just the way we planned. Just follow the core concepts and you could win several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that, don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business, the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette or craps, you gotta carry defense cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty